China pours $110 billion into U.S. real estate. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today, let's look at this and a few other articles. I'm going to connect it all together, beginning with this out of The Guardian. Chinese nationals have become the largest foreign buyers of U.S. property after pouring billions into the market in search of safe offshore assets. Now, let's get right into it, why this is the case. A few years ago, you had Chinese able to move more money out of China. Of course, there are restrictions on how much money they were able to move. So when that was, let's say, opened up, Chinese just started pouring their money out. And they wanted to diversify. Number one, they want to diversify out of, let's say, cash or paper assets. And they want to get into another currency or something denominated in another currency, as well as holding real assets. And they've been purchasing land and real estate all over the globe. Let's look at this. A huge surge in Chinese buying of both residential and commercial real estate last year took their 5-year investment total to more than $110 billion. That's according to this study. So we are seeing a huge amount of property being purchased in the US. At least that's what it's talking about here, and we'll get into more. And the sheer size is told to actually help the real estate market recover from the crash, which began in 2006, which they didn't admit, of course, until about 2007, 2008. Chinese investment in property has also helped to inflate prices in other developed countries, and the UK and Australia being two of those that are affected by this. But of course, you can see it happening in Canada, I believe, more so than anywhere else. In fact, if you look at Vancouver, it's absolutely ridiculous. And this is just a real showing of how money can flow, or currency can flow, from one part of the world into another part of the world because of the monetary policies in the origin country as well as the, let's say, the receiving country. So right now we have extremely low interest rates, which allows people to borrow if they're going to do it that way, but it also allows individuals to say, why am I going to invest in a paper so-called asset if I'm going to get 1%, 3%, 5%, whatever it might be? When I can buy a home in this area, I can borrow money if needed. I can use that leverage. Perhaps I can, instead of, I may have $5 million and I could buy a set of units which are worth $20 million, let's say, and use that leverage to it. And individuals, Chinese in particular, are doing so for all the reasons we've discussed. So this is very important. Let's track the trend as time goes on. Now, this article right here is talking about Amazon, saying that this week it was Amazon that brought the whole stock market up. I'm not going to get into the article itself. I don't really necessarily care to get into it. What I want to note here is that if you look at the stock market, the so-called recovery, you find that is actually only a handful of stocks which have risen to their previous highs, and these are not factoring in inflation definitely. So this is the way it is. In fact, because of the incentive programs for central banks to buy up shares of the stock market, they tend to buy into the same stocks. So these particular stocks are doing well, but the actual stock market has a different story. OPEC, very important, obviously, the price of oil. We've been tracking it. We've been seeing everything that's happening in the recent past from about 2014, where it takes a huge dive up until very recently, 2016, and then things have been changing ever since. Internal differences are killing OPEC, and its ability to influence the markets has all but evaporated. Top Russian oil executive told Reuters in some of his harshest remarks about the oil cartel. Now, obviously, Russia and others connected to Russia don't like OPEC. They don't like what they do, and many even in OPEC don't like the way it works. Russia, which has been hit hard by the oil price collapse, was flirting with the idea of cooperating with OPEC in recent months until tensions between OPEC members Saudi Arabia and Iran ruined a global deal to freeze output. So this is interesting. I don't know if they are ever going to do a deal with OPEC. It would be very, I really don't see it happening. But if they do concede, something big is going on. We have to really, really keep our eyes on this. That's the reason why I wanted to mention in this article. Pay attention to a deal, if there ever is one, and we know that something major has changed in the New World Order. How long would it take you to earn a billionaire's fortune? Average UK worker needs 300,000 years to earn the wealth of the richest Britain. So think about that for a second. 300,000 years you'd have to work for. The wealth disparity is incredible. And this is the type of situation that we're in. When you see that it's not even close. It's not 1,000 years. It's not 2,000 years. It's 300,000 years. And that's the type of disaster that we're in. When you have that, you need a middle class. You need a strong middle class in order to benefit, in order to have a strong economy, Main Street, whatever we want to call it. And that's not happening in most countries around the world. Warren Buffett struck media gold with 2012 investment in debt-laden Media General Inc. Now the famed investor may try to reprise that success by supporting a bid for Yahoo Inc.'s internet assets. I just wanted to mention this here, that Warren Buffett may buy a particular company, whether that's Bank of America or purchase shares of a company. And you have to understand that people will be swayed by this, and they'll believe, look, if Warren Buffett thinks Yahoo's a good investment, then I should buy into Yahoo as well, because Warren Buffett, he's the best. He's so nice. I mean, he's always eating ice cream and drinking Coke. I mean, he's a nice man. But the truth is that he gets sweetheart deals. He is able to evade taxation. And this is, and gets bailouts, never mind. This is what people don't realize. So that's why I wanted to mention this and mention those points as well. Robots are taking over, automation is taking over, and there are, of course, as I always say, there are pros and cons, there are good things and bad things. An artificial intelligence attorney created using technology from IBM's Watson has snagged its first customer, but that doesn't mean it'll be appearing in courtroom anytime soon. This law firm said this week it will use the AI lawyer Ross as a resource for the 50 lawyers in its bankruptcy division, helping advise the proceedings related to the Bernie Madoff case. Can you believe this here? That soon enough, I'm sure it won't take long, but you won't even have human lawyers. So now the high-paying positions, not just the average or below that, you're having the higher pay positions. We saw the robo-advisors in financial institutions, and now we are seeing the lawyers. Robotics and automation, the double-edged sword, and ultimately going to be used against us. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. I'm using this new screen recording thing here. Let me know what you think of it. There's probably going to be a little watermark icon in the bottom left corner there. I'm using the free version, going to try it out, see how it works. This will allow me to upload faster to YouTube, so I obviously like that because it'll save me time. And if I get the paid version, it will actually allow me to draw with my mouse. So if I can, highlight something with my mouse and things, so it could be interesting. It also allows me to record myself. So this was brought up by one of the subscribers here. Basically, I can have a webcam going at the same time that I'm showing you. So you could see me in the corner, let's say, as I'm covering these articles. So that could be interesting. I don't have a webcam, But anyway, the reason I mentioned this is the paid software is $15, so I'm a little hesitant to buy it anyway. But we'll see how it goes. That's all. That's just full transparency here at the Money GPS. I'd like to tell you everything that's going on. If you found this video informative, I know you'll find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. If you want to look through the book, just head over to Amazon. You'll see this look inside feature that they have, which will allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care.